Hello, welcome back to another episode. I say it's rather lovely to have you listening to me. The power is incredible. You know, I kind of have mentioned a few times on this podcast about taking a step back and just kind of looking at your life going, fuck, how fucked am I, or how shitty it is. But there is an advantage of, being in a state, and more importantly, an advantage to doing, because I'm on the other end of the doing spectrum where I'm not doing. I am doing, but fuck, I don't get into that. I'm in the more in the thinking phase, and I think there is also, of course, we use the word overthinking, and we use the word like fuck, man, I have so many thoughts in my head. Difference. Well, I'm thinking kind of maybe in a productive way, or maybe in a sense of where's my purpose lying kind of thinking way. And there is an advantage to it, but what the disadvantage sometimes is that you come up with too many theories, and those theories, by virtue of being theories, kind of just swim around, and they have these opposite currents that push each other around and don't really end up giving you much clarity as a result. So that's maybe reason why this episode's called Too Many Theories. But I don't have too many theories, just a few theories, but few enough to qualify for too many. Let's fucking do that. Well, do I have names for these theories? No. I don't really believe in a labeling system. I think every theory should be beyond itself by virtue of not being itself. Whoa! Fucking giving my friend Somnath a lot of quotes to work with up top. That's a good one, I think. Anyhow, no. The first theory, it's not really a theory. Maybe it's even an observation. Who the fuck cares? I just wanted to call this episode Too Many Theories, and I work backwards from there. Or the word is backward. I don't think apparently two words or backwards or forwards exist. It's backward, forward, two-word. Something new you learned, my friend. Why am I clapping like a fucking... Hey, who are those people? Anyhow, you know who they are. Those people who applaud at shows, not the ones who applaud and ask for money. Those are called free fucking audience. Yeah, they just come for your show like, fucking, I want F&B. Yeah. Anyhow, so I think there's, of course, reading about Afghanistan, reading about all the horrific things going on. I read about this guy in Florida, this ex-Marine, who went shot some people. Just another American shooting. It sounds so sad to say, but that's another thing. Just like, I had a gun and I felt... And I think his girlfriend or someone, this, of course, I just read this a few hours back, so maybe the reports which would have come out later might have more information, but his wife said he had post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and he went and unleashed himself and fired a gun into mother, baby, the father's mother, and the dog, and then just said, you know what, I surrender, fucking cunt. Now, this particular act, of course, is very cunty, but all these things like ruining a nation for profiteering, what America did, and I was, of course, but first of all, a lot of these theories aren't, I didn't pull it out of my ass, in the sense it's not all my theories. I've obviously, they're heavily influenced by conversations I've heard by people who are more knowledgeable in the space, giving information and facts. And of course, like for instance, I'm sure you guys, if you haven't, there's a documentary out on Netflix called, I think, Turning Point, about the 9/11 and the 20-year Afghan war. So if you watch that, some of the stuff might sound familiar. Like just the entire thing about how the US misappropriated and used money which was allocated to the war in Afghanistan. Just a lot of shitload of wastage, a lot of pilfering of funds, a lot of people fraudulently, taking those funds for their business. And of course, the whole thing of companies being owned by politicians, or politicians having a stake. All sorts of things, which I'm sure if you're not living under a rock, you would have either read or heard or come across in some way. So yeah, many of these things are reoccurring in various mediums, and they're not obviously my imagination or my theories in that way, but I just believe in a certain thing which I'm using these bits of information to formulate for our future. Like for instance, all these things causing fear, causing war, creating war, causing fear, creating a lot of disparity, creating the sense of superiority, which I spoke about in the last couple of episodes. It creates this sense of them versus us, this sense of hate. It creates this entire generation of people who are, subjugated to a lifetime full of fear and fear of persecution, fear of uncertainty, of not knowing what their country is or their future is. And then the soldiers who are in that place have no clue why they're there. Sometimes they're being sent on certain pretexts, and then they're there being asked to do things which are miserable, and it fucking fucks them up in the head. And that's this Marine story is what the result was horrible, but the cause is not his fault. It's basically what these fuckers are doing. These politicians, be it whichever country, America, India, be it any nation where politicians are sending people at a whim for their gain, and those people are coming back either physically marred, mentally marred, sometimes losing their lives, which is miserable. And then you put them back just normally in society and saying, guys, now function. We made you into killing machines, and now we profited off that, but now just come back to normal and be well-meaning, functioning members of society and follow the rules. Like, fuck that, man. You made me into a killing machine. I'm going to continue to kill. Not justifying anything, but this is what they do. And it's leading to my first theory, right? Like, you cause all this, and you kind of profit from the actions and also from the consequences. So then you kind of say, oh, we have a pandemic of mental health in our problem, mental health issues and mental health illness in our society, which you've created in the fucking first place. Just like how you fed people with unhealthy food and sugary drinks, and now you have a huge number of juvenile diabetics. And the same thing, now you have mental health through social media, through post-traumatic stress, through bad food, through all these various things that you are selling to the people. And just like how politicians putting these people in the fucking battlefield, it's the same thing which leads to when you're in charge of someone's life and you really care about that life, you don't take decisions so fucking flippantly, be it whichever president. It's just fucking, if that person means something to you, if that life you're ordering to go in the name of patriotism or whatever, if you're going to just give that instruction saying you might not come back, you will take it a little bit more serious. You will have a little bit more, invested in the consequences. You will have thought put behind why you're sending that person. This is just fucking, and that's what irritates me. Say it as it is, saying, yeah, these guys are just soldiers, they signed up for it, fuck them. If you say it, do it. But hiding behind this idea like, no, there are soldiers, let's maintain it. You don't care. So why are you making us believe that we should care because you feel guilty about it? I mean, you don't feel guilty, but putting this sense of the guilt on our heads, saying, oh, you should care for your soldiers. Fuck you. We didn't send them out there. You pricks did. So don't make me feel bad for your inhumanity or your lack of the lack of humaneness. That's the word. So this is an entire sort of, it has nothing to do with it maybe when I think about it, but the theory of the fact that when people, when creativity is, when people who create, be it engineers, be it designers, be it artists, whoever creates, when they are overshadowed by people who are trying to manipulate, that is marketing, sales, and people are trying to portray and manipulate and convince people by saying you need this or without this, and the thing is, if the product, if the creation is good, I think there is a basic sense of humans appreciating creation and other things that are created, and if it's useful, if it's beneficial, they kind of just consume it. But when you have these marketing people, they kind of make it backward, where they kind of say, okay, wait, let's come up with these things which we think they will like, or if they don't like, we will convince them that without it, they're not going to live a full life, or they're going to not be as cool as their friends, or they're not going to have the right status in society. And then let's get these people to build that shit. That is a sign of a fucked up society. And then let's get lawyers, because now we need the lawyers to mediate all these things where we fucked up, and to make sure that to cover our asses, we have these contracts. So the person who creates is fucked, the person who's consuming is fucked, but we in the middle who came up with these things to fuck up society, we're safe. So that's a fucked up society. That breeds just money. This theory that everything now is being sort of fed into people, like you can make as much as you want, you can be a billionaire, you can be a YouTube sensation, you can be the best artist, but all based on how we use you as a talent in the most appropriate way. So when the majority of the industry is controlled by lawyers, by marketing, sales, by managers, and the artists, the creators, the engineers are sidelined, or their ideas are not coming out in the open for people and mankind or human beings to benefit from, but is being sidelined because there's a much more profitable and much more a quick way of these guys, making, padding their pockets with more money, then clearly society and human beings and evolution or whatever, we're not going forward in any way. We're just going to be stuck in this loop where you're feeding more and more greed, you're feeding more and more uncertainty, you're making people feel inadequate, then you feed more of these mental health issues, and then you create services which are pandering or providing for the aftermath of your selfishness. And that's what these fucks are doing. And it's not even a theory, as I said, it's an observation, and it's something that we need to be aware of. And just this whole thing, like a lot of the conversation around me I've been hearing is about these seed funding, investment funding, venture capitalists, how much this fund grew, how much that fund grew, how many millions over here, how many billions over here, how this company got acquired for 30 billion, the initial public offering. You have all these things. And that's one thing I will tell you, is when money is the focus of your be okay. Now let me put a quick display. My mom does, she's like, but what will you be without money in this world? Yeah, very valid point, ma. But there's a difference between having money, making money as a means to an end to live or to enjoy life, versus money being your sole driving force, money being the sole reason for your thinking. Everything is about making more, because when that's your entire focus all the time, you're never going to be content. You'll always have less than someone, but at the same time more than someone. So that makes you jealous, yet it makes you a little bit more arrogant. You'll always want more, but you'll never have enough, because you do have a nice set of things, cars, clothes, suits, houses, but it's just not as much as you want. There are nicer cars out there. The sales guys are telling you that. The advertisements are telling you that. There's a newer model. There's a V8 out there. There's a hybrid. There's a convertible version. There's a new turbocharged version. There's new Alcantara leather seats out there. There's a new Hugo Boss collection out there. There's new styles out there for you to think, to sort of get into and be trendy. Don't be fucking outdated. So it's never enough. And there's the guy who just got a promotion, or the guy who just sold his company for 150 million. Fuck, he bought a yacht, man. Come on, I need a yacht. I don't know how to fucking get on the ocean. I don't know. I live in Delhi. There's no fucking water body close by. I mean, there's rivers, but what do I do with the yacht? Fuck, I don't know. Just going to buy it, but which one do I buy? Second hand or first new one? Who's going to do my interiors? Because this guy got it done by that chick from Milan who just really did it up really well. He spent 50 million. I only have 10 million. Should I rent? I don't know. Should I rent? But I have these 3 houses. Should I sell one? But if I sell one, then I have one less than that guy who has 6. And then there's uncertainty, like, how can I make more? There is a constant greed, like how and where are ways I can cut corners and accumulate and hoard? Who can I fuck over to make this money? Shit, I fucked someone over, I'm feeling shit about myself. Which slowly goes away as you fuck more people over. And all these things keep repeating when money is your focus, right? It's never enough. It's more than someone. I'm not good enough because I made $1 million last year, but I'm only making 100,000 this year. There's something fundamentally wrong with me as a human being, even though the money that I made was because of what I did and not who I am. So there's constant self-doubt. Then there's the ego being bruised and inflated constantly. It's like a fucking dildo. Not even a dildo. Yeah. Why did I say dildo? It's like a penis pump. Yeah, let's call it that. Dildos don't inflate and deflate. I hope not. Well, at least if they do, I've been not using that. Fuck you. Yeah, I'm not using dildos. But I think it is a terrible thing to feed. And I think money is the biggest downfall, biggest curse. And of course, man, you need it. And if you use it to help, use it as an empowering tool. If you use it to sort of use it as a means to an end. I think that's sort of self-explanatory. I think it's important, but man, the kind of people, the kind of talk which surrounds money is just fucking filthy. The way people are about it, they just seem like they have this sense of I'm better than you, I'm more powerful, and I know more. I because I made a profit, because I invest, I am a better human being as a result. And people venerate these people, and they kind of just sort of put them on a pedestal, and the ass licking begins. It's like literally tongue to cheek. And and then you sort of have people around them hovering around like moths to a light, kind of like fame by association. They're like, yeah, this guy's good, man. And they drop names, say, I know this guy, and I just, and then there's sort of, there's like a ripple effect. Like it's like the main force with the money in the middle, and in different centers, right? It could be like Ambani and his puddle that sort of spreads out, sprinkles out. It could be Bezos. It could be I think Musk still believes a lot in engineering, which I think, and creating. So I don't know anything bad about him. But like the Bill Gates types, the Bezos, the other billionaires out there, it's just like you have like the Silicon Valley, which comes as a result. You have the whole sort of the Mumbai industry, the Bombay things. That's where the money is. Basically, everything spreads out. It's like an epicenter, and then things just go out, and then communities that come up. You have entertainment, the ancillary units, which are all funded by this money, and it all comes back to the same cocksucking, which happens in the middle, which is in the main room, in the boardroom. You just take a look. This is not even a theory. You just look around. It's fucking there everywhere. It's there in your friend circles where there's one rich kid and he has his cronies, which is like, oh, that guy's great. I think Bharat's just fucking amazing. I think he's just understanding. He just has the right contact. Like, yeah, but what if little Bharat didn't have all the contacts and the investment capability? But I play golf with little Bharat. Like, yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's my theory about this issue. I think maybe it was all not even a theory. Maybe I got carried away with the title. But there are things like this, man. I think you really. And you ask yourself, like, how do I fucking manage that? How do I try to be happy in my own existence or my life? And I think that's a really important thing that I've been trying to figure out. And I think that's perception. And this is a guy who I'm going to get on the podcast soon. His name is Nimrod Brockman. He's a sports psychologist, and he really sort of helped me late 2019, early 2020, just breaking certain patterns I had with physical limitations and certain anxiety or anticipation anxiety that had manifested into physical traits like stiffness, like my neck, my shoulders, or everything. So anyway, so he did a bunch of things. And the biggest thing he taught me is letting go. And I think this is something which I think can be applied in various aspects of life. And I think one thing in this space is the perspective, right? If you're constantly in this turmoil inside your head where you have this narrative of I don't have enough, how do I make more, I'm not good enough because of what I do, I hate my job, I need more money to retire. And if one of those things, I'm not just saying money, the only thing, while I demonize greed and money, I'm not saying that's the only thing that people are driven by, because there's a lot of other emotions that can bog you down and can also sort of entrap you in a way and a cycle of thinking. But end of the day, you got to remember, and this is what he told me, is that it's your perception. And I'll talk to him about the podcast. You can tune in. I think it's out next week. You can listen to him about this. And I make it a point to mention this question or this conversation to him, is that whatever you as an individual are perceiving is your perception. So when people talk to you in a certain way, they will continue to do so. If they are treating you in a certain way, they are doing that to you, and it's how you receive it. Now, if you receive even a smile when you are angry or you're insecure, you're like, oh my God, is that a sneer? Are they condescending? Are they putting me down, thinking, do they know something that I don't know? Are they laughing at me? Well, at the same time, if you're okay with who you are, with the fact that you might have and might not have certain things. You don't have it all. You, in fact, might not even have very many things, but you're okay with that. But what you are able to do is focus on what you have and what you can do with what you have. And as a result, you're at, I wouldn't say a sense of peace, but you are at a place where you're okay with the entire sort of deal that you've been given in this life. Then the smile is just a smile. And it could go even further into, you know what, a benevolent sense, going, this person really means well. And that could create something much more magical, like a relationship or an encounter which is positive, which makes the whole purpose of human existence much more fulfilling, where people are like, you know what, as one human being to another human being, I think we're the same consciousness. We can appreciate who we are. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want to get that deep into things, but I think it really is important, because all the stuff which we hear, which we listen, because the person who's angry and who's going to insult you, or put someone down because of a disability, who's going to trip you, make fun of you, they have their own set of issues. Now, you can't change them, but how you can change it is by how you receive it, and that's perception. Because all the stuff that comes are through your ears, through your eyes, through your nose, through your face, through your mouth, through your skin, through your touch, through your body, through your mind. Now, the mind and the senses will receive things through various things that happen in your body and mind and trigger certain things. But the biggest one, which I think, like even a smell, if you've had a bad association with the smell, now the mind has said that smell is also for your safety. If you smell a tiger, then fucking run. The tigers are coming up a lot of my podcasts. But if the mind perceives something and through the eyes and says, you know what, we're not going to enter the situation with hate or greed or with anxiety or with thing. We're going to try to keep it as poised and balanced as possible. And as a result, the ingredients, which are kind of the same for everyone, come into you through your filters. And that makes your experience, I think, unique, and makes it your experience, which is great. So, yeah, I'm as I said, it's theories, it's stuff that I think I'm trying to incorporate into my life. And sorry if it sounds preachy. You know, I hate preaching on the podcast, but it's something I'm trying to wrap my head around. And I use this, as many of you know, sometimes to just sort of put out premises for material and stand up, sometimes to think about what I'm going through and what I'm trying to figure out in my life, and sometimes even to share things that I've learned. So that's it for this episode, I think. I hope you liked the so-called theories or the observations or the lessons I've tried to wrap my head around. Of course, I'd love to hear from you on any of these things. You can drop in a message at SoapyRao Show, SoapyRaoshow @gmail.com, or you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoapyRao, SoapyRao. Thanks again, and thanks always for listening to the Soapy Rao Show. I appreciate you for who you are and what you do, and just be yourself. And as cliched as that sound, I think just try to understand what it means to be yourself. So till next time, goodbye, God bless, take care of yourselves. Cheers.